This video is going to show you how to create some sparkling glitter coasters in our Mosaic Coaster Mold. Let's get started. I started off by mixing up 3 ounces of JDiction high gloss resin, and I'm using 4 scoops of Dancing Moon Fairy Dust by Fairy Tale Apothecary, 5 scoops of Heaven Fairy Dust by Fairy Tale Apothecary, 3 scoops of Rose Gold Hyper Holo Glitter by Solar Color Dust, and 3 scoops of Silver Hyper Holo Glitter by Solar Color Dust. That's a lot of words. To fill these molds, you need about 1.2 to 1.5 ounces for each mold. I separated into 0.3 ounces for 4 different colors. If doing 2 molds, you'll need 0.6 of each color. And I'm filling up the different spaces with the different colors of glitter in the resin, adding a little bit more where needed. I did use a cheat sheet for this where I took a photo of the mold and printed it out as a PDF, and that way I can lay out my colors so they don't end up touching each other because I can't pre-visualize this. I need to see it written on paper. There's the rose gold going down there. I'm quite brave pouring out of the cup. I did do another pour in this mold. Our video number 37 shows how to pour coasters using mica powders, and there I used a pipette to pour into the areas. But the side walls in here are high enough to keep the colors away from each other as long as you don't over pour in it. And this is a pretty simple mold. You're just pouring your little sections. You're going to backfill it with a color, demold that, and then just do a top coat. And that same sidewall is perfect for a top coat in that the resin doesn't have to go over the sides. You can keep it contained within the mold. I'm just tapping it a little bit there. It doesn't really need to be, but just to knock out any potential air bubbles that are on the bottom. Mixing up the 3 ounces for each color. You will have a little bit left over, maybe enough to fill the top of a ring cone or something, not enough to do a whole nother pour. But I did about 3 ounces and split it between the two, so about 1.2 to 1.5 ounces for each mold. And I do have a second mold going off camera there. For the back, I'm using this HTVRONT black pigment paste I got off Amazon. It has, the backfill is about 1.80 ounces per coaster, so I mixed up 3.83 ounces and used 6 drops of the black pigment paste. Their new bottle is very easy to squeeze. Their old bottle was a nightmare to try and get drops out of. As you see, I'm kind of pouring carefully there, trying to get it into the edges, and I do pull the edges back because that will form the sides and top of your mold. Oh, there's some missing there. Speeding it up here just a little bit. The colors were already dry when I poured the back. And I'm just taking the time to turn this and squeeze it and tap it to make sure the resin goes all the way down to the bottom, which will be your top once it's demolded. Adding a little bit more there. So again, the backfill is about 1.80 ounces per coaster. And you can use any colors, you can use glitter, whatever you want. Now it's time to demold. Once the top is turned over, it does have a matte finish, but when you top coat it, it will turn glossy. The black acts as a separator between the colors, and you have black edges and a black top. I then mixed up 2.5 ounces of resin for the 2 molds. Each one takes about 1.25 ounces for the top coat, and that fits just under the edge of the mold because the side walls are high enough to contain the resin and not let it spill over the sides. Again, we have a video number 37 that shows how to pour in this mold using mica powders. This was all glitter. And as you can see, I'm kind of going into the little crevasses between the colors, making sure that the resin all gets in there, so we don't have any empty spots. It's funny that this only takes 1.25 ounces, but that's all it takes. There, I think I use, squeeze out a little bit more resin, use a little bit of a heat gun to get rid of some bubbles, and a silicone pen. It's looking pretty already. As you see, some bubbles did come up there. Quick heat gun, quick silicone pen will get rid of those. You do want to cover this while it's drying, while this final part is curing, because this is the top of the finished piece and you don't want dust or any sort of other things landing on it. Once it's cured, this is what it looks like. That glitter sure does sparkle. I love those hyper hollow glitters. They're so tiny. Let us know what you think of this pour in the comments below.